Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Nikke Goddess of Victory video. So let's talk about the two characters coming this week in the Resident Evil collaboration. If you guys are not aware, Ada Wong and of course Jill Valentine. Now with collab characters, generally it tends to be a little bit more tricky whether or not you should be pulling for them, because a lot of the collab characters are just not that good in the past Nikke history. Now there's going to be two exceptions, and that's going to be Raven. I would say she's going to be one of the few better ones. I would say Eve is kind of decent as well, but the outlier is going to be perhaps Asuka Willy, right? So she is going to be perhaps the strongest collab character in the meta right now, someone that belongs in the SSS tier. Now every other collab character seems to be a little bit lacking usually when it comes to the design of their kit, and they usually get power creep later on, right? So let's talk about the new characters for Resident Evil collaboration, if this is going to be the case for both of them as well. Now this video is sponsored by EnjoyGM. Now what is EnjoyGM? EnjoyGM is a fast, secure and affordable recharge or top-up service website that you can use to top up any of the games that you play. The games doesn't just apply to Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, but also live streaming applications like Bigo as well, as you can see right here. Now something that I'm personally very curious is how do this website, for example, provide you a cheaper benefit to top up in the particular game. As you can see right here, if I were to look at Zelda Zone Zero, this is going to be something that's definitely cheaper than what the game offers. Now EnjoyGM has a direct connection with some of these companies, which eliminates some of the Play Store or App Store fee that's needed in some of the top-up system. For those of you who are not aware, basically when you buy a package in Android or iOS, Google and Apple takes a cut from that package. But right here, if you are topping up via EnjoyGM, it's going to be simple, straightforward, and you are also going to get 24/7 support. For some of these games, Zelda Zone Zero for example, you can basically just do it by including your UID in the game. And that's the only thing that it needs. You only need the UID and the server. Alright, there's no password needed. For the Hoyo games right here, that's going to be Genshin Impact, Zelda Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail. Now you can basically read some of the FAQs right here, and they even support plenty of different payments including Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc. Now for games like Wuthering Waves, however, the process is a little bit different. So you can see right here, you have to use a Kuro Games account. So if you log into Wuthering Waves using your Google or your Apple, Facebook, whatever, make sure you are syncing that to a Kuro Games account. The instructions are all very clear, and of course, every single game has their own method to log in, so make sure you guys read them. Now, in case you guys are worried about bans, the company holds full compliance certifications and has operated for years with zero complaints of account bans, so there's that. So some of these you can literally get up to 30% discount, which is going to be huge if you are a whale and you're looking to buy plenty of packages in the game. Big shout out to EnjoyGM for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to check it out, I'll have the referral link in the description below, and there's also going to be 24/7 support and global payment for this particular website. With that, let's jump into the video. Now first up, let's address the drama with Ada Wong. Holy! A lot of people
Sorry, that's a secret.
are not happy with this particular voice. Alright, Ada Wong's voice is being blasted all over Twitter. You can see the comments in Twitter and on YouTube. It is going to be just all about the voice acting in general. Fix the voice. Worst VA in the industry right now. I believe it's just the thing that she say during the animation right here, right? If you look at it,
This is gonna make quite the impression.
it's not the best. I get it. I understand. Alright, so but voice acting aside, I do think that she's probably going to be the better one between the two of them, just because of how she acts in her role, right? Rocket launcher, okay, burst 3. So right now, passive skill, when enter full burst, affects all burst 3 allies who previously cast their burst skill. Oh, quite similar to Crown, but in a different burst. Affects all burst stage 3 allies. 60% of casters attacked by 10%. True damage by 50%, recovers 10% of damage as HP. That is not bad. Can she be used as like a healer in case you want to activate her burst 3, right? Whereas you have the other two. 60% attack plus 50% true damage is good if you basically get another true damage character to basically get for it, right? Okay, so during the full burst, affects enemies within attack range nearest the crosshair every 2 seconds. Okay, true damage right here. Activates using burst skill. Affect self. Flash Grenade Toast activation, go down by 1 second. So increase attack by 40% for her burst skill, true damage increase, decrease charge speed but increase charge damage for 1 round. Charge damage go out to 1005%. So basically she will get that for during the burst. I can see why people call her like the Snow White, but for electric type, right? She's going to be an iron supporter. Yeah, I can see that. Because if you put her in an electric team, the only other electric character that's true damage is probably Iron, right? Iron is the most known one. The rest of them probably have like their own stuff, but not many true damage. But we have to look at who's the other one. Jill Valentine, right? Maybe she fits with her. I have a feeling Jill Valentine is going to be somebody that does a lot of true damage. Okay, let's talk about Jill Valentine then. So she is going to be a little bit different. She's much more of a same role, right? She's also a burst 3 electric DPS, but she's going to be in that particular centric of focusing on doing damage. Alright, she's going to be a damage dealer DPS. She's not going to be that sub DPS or like that support in that burst 3 role. So this is going to be a skill animation. So you can see she is going to activate. I feel like that, you know, the LTD animation is like, it's whatever, right? So her attack speed is a little bit slow. Alright, she shoots, her shots is like being fired 1-2 hits, 1-2 hits. So it's very different compared to a lot of other characters that we have. Now despite her right here being assault rifle, alright, you can see the shots that she fires is just very little, and she has very little ammo capacity as well. So don't be fooled, right? Just because she's assault rifle, I think they don't want to make a specific new handgun for her, because if you look at any other assault rifle in the game, for example, someone like, I would say a good example is like Dorothy. Now Dorothy, she has 60 ammo capacity for being an assault rifle, right? Whereas Jill Valentine has 9, which is like a kind of a weird one. Now, is she doing more damage, right? I would say yes, right? She does 71% of attack as damage, whereas for someone like Dorothy, she does 13% of attack as damage. Now we'll see if that's going to take into effect. Will that actually help her improve the damage and balance things out, right? But her kit overall, right here you can see, skill 1 activates at the start of the battle, reload max ammo, affect self, right? So she has this thing called the Magnum ammo. Normal attack damage multiplier increased by 30% for 9 rounds. So that's going to be for the entire max ammo right there. Alright, and she also have this thing that activates when using burst skill. Her true damage increased by 35%. Very cool. So skill 2 acid ammo right here activates at the start of the battle and upon reloading to max ammunition. Alright, so max ammunition is going to be both the skill 1 and skill 2. It seems like she will get this effect every time, right? So functions upon reloading to max ammo. Only the first round deals sustained damage to the target, so deals 192% of final attack as sustained damage for 30 seconds. Now for those of you who are not aware what sustained damage is, that's pretty much DOT, right? Damage over time in this particular game, but it's called sustained damage. Mihara Bonding Chain is notorious for having that in her kit. So right here you can see she also has a very strong, very high attack boost at 40% right here, right? When she enters full burst. So there's that. This is going to be very useful in terms of trying to get the sustained damage to do more, right? Now for a burst skill, affect self, she is basically going to fix reload speed at 99.96% increase for 10 seconds. Now that's a lot of increase in terms of reloading, for sure. Now, I'm not sure if you need to give her reload speed just because of that, right? She's going to have a decent reload speed already. But then at the same time, since she's going to do, in a lot of cases, just true damage most of the time, right here in the force reload, where her hit rate increased by 80%, attack damage increased by 75%, but all her attack is going to do true damage. I'm not sure if that's going to be something that is going to be advantageous, just because I believe she is going to be, I could be wrong, but I think she's the first true damage, sustained damage character, right? That means she's a true damage and a sustained damage at the same time. True damage DOT character, right? Most other characters I don't think is that. So very interesting in terms of the electric meta right now. So looking at her kit, she's going to be much more of a DPS compared to Ada Wong. I think Ada Wong is going to lean towards the support approach, right? So in my opinion, if you care about the meta and if you can only pull one, probably Ada Wong is going to be the better one between the two, just because she is going to last longer. In the meta, generally, I feel like there's always going to be a chance for you to use her in a solo raid in the future because she's like a support burst tree. Now, she's probably not going to replace, for example, someone like Swimsuit Anis, which we already have for electric, support, but she can probably pair with Ain or other true damage characters to basically buff her. Now, both Ada Wong and Jill Valentine probably could fit in the same team, and you probably can use them together just like how you can use Eve and Raven, right? Collab characters generally, like I said, it's like a hit or miss, so we have to test out, in this particular case, Jill Valentine's damage and see where she stands in the meta. I think for electric DPS characters, it's just going to be very, very tight. We already got Cinderella, she's probably going to be the strongest one. And then we got someone like Ain, which is also another true damage character. So we're just going to see if Jill Valentine can compete with Ain, because right now she's probably going to be one of the better ones in terms of doing true damage right here, specialized in that just specifically for the electric Nikke. If you can only pick one and you care about meta, I would probably lean a little bit towards Ada Wong. I get it, the voice, the drama, all of that aside, right? I'm just here to talk about which one I think will last longer in the meta. Power creep is going to be a thing, so that's just going to be that. And also for anyone that's looking to still obtain Swimsuit Anis, she's still probably going to be a very good pick, knowing that she's probably going to be the few other electric support burst free Nikke in the game, right? So I do highly recommend you guys to try to get her before the banner goes away. So yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be it for this particular video. If you guys haven't checked out my most recent developers note where we talk about the free synchro slot, we're also going to have a Pilgrim rerun coming soon. Make sure you guys check that video out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, give this video a like, have a nice day, goodbye.